Okay, this whole time I've been saying listen to Philly, listen closely to Philly. I've been telling you to go listen to Philly, and somebody did, and somebody caught what I caught, and somebody mentioned it, so I'm going to talk about it now. And it is disturbing what Philly just did, and so many people are like, yes, good job. It's really disturbing. I'm going to do a longer video, but just real quick. Philly in the Philippines went on a live stream and he says he sees Ace. So in his mind, he's like, I'm going to go commit a crime. I'm going to turn around my bike and go confront him and cause a disturbance on the street. That's a crime in the Philippines, according to Philly. I don't know the law. I'm not a lawyer, but Philly has told us all many times that it is a crime to create a disturbance in the Philippines. So Philly does that intentionally. And when he's not getting the response he wants from Ace, he turns to a couple of local kuyas and says, hey, this guy talks about Filipinos. Whoa, stop. Hit record. Save that, because that is an American trying to instigate violence between two locals and another American. And I'm like, holy smokes, are you serious? Now, Philly brags that he's a veteran. I'm a veteran in good standing. I'm a moral man. Here is an American veteran trying to instigate violence between two locals and another American veteran because he's too much of a coward, wimp, weakling, whatever, to deal with the situation himself. So he is going to try to instigate violence, and knowing, having preached it many times, that if Ace even raises his voice in his own defense against these two kuyas, he could go to jail. Even if it's just for a couple days, could be months. Who knows how long you're going to wait for the magistrate to hear your case? How much money is it going to cost you to get out of jail? And Philippines has some of the worst jails, right? Who wants to go there? Nobody wants to go there. That's what Philly did. And what a lot of people are probably going to miss is if he is willing to do that under the guise of defense of my family, and I break down that whole fucking fallacy, in another video coming up, right? But if he's willing to do that, there's nothing saying he won't take some of that big YouTube money, right? People with less views claim to be, mid four figures a month on just YouTube. So if he's going to take some of that YouTube money and go spread it around, or go whisper in ears, go to his trike mafia buddies and say, oh, this guy's bad or that guy's bad. Or go to this guy over here and say, hey, I see you break into houses. Why don't you go break into this house? Here's $5K, here's $10K. What's $200 to an American? I mean, really, what's $200 to an American? But what's 10K, 20K to a Filipino, right? The guy that steals phones there on Walking Street, right? Instead of stealing a phone, hey, here's a picture of this guy. Just drop a brick in the back of his head. Just smack him with a brick and run away, right? If Philly is willing to instigate violence and intentionally try to pit these two together, these two kuyas, these two locals against Ace, there is nothing that man without morals will do to win his fight. And if you want to argue with me, that's fine. But it's kind of obvious to anybody who's been around the block that if you're that much of a coward, that you're going to try and instigate, knowing full well the repercussions, knowing full well that there is no way Ace will ever win that fight, then you're also the type of person that will likely, when you don't get the response you want, right, will likely turn around and pay somebody to get the response you want. Why wouldn't you? You already broke the barrier. You already broke the barrier about talking about people's families when you talk shit about Tim Kaye. And in your live stream, you're rejoicing the fact that people can use the video or the audio that was trolled of Tim Kaye's son. That's clearly an adult asking Tim Kaye's son about Tim Kaye, and somebody trolled that. And Philly in the Philippines, in that disgusting video where he spent 3 hours talking about a man, talking shit about a man, he's rejoicing the fact that they can use that to discredit Tim Kaye. They can use that to talk shit. And now he's upset somebody talked about his wife. He's been putting his wife and his family next to Smut in front of him as a moral shield for the longest time while he's been out there peddling this sex tourism. And now he's upset that somebody like tapped on the shield. So nothing is stopping Philly from going to some little girls and saying, hey, you're 16. Why don't you set up this guy in a honey trap? Here's how you do it. And let me give you some money. And here's how you do it. Let me give you some money. Nothing is stopping him from going to Adrian or these other trike mafia guys and whispering in their ears and giving them a little money, right? Nothing is stopping him because he's proven he has no morals. He's proven he has no integrity. He's proven he has no backbone. And the problem is all these people around him, I saw one comment, and I'm sure there's more that I didn't catch, but all these other people, all these thousands of viewers, they're all saying, good job. And it really, really bothered me, really lost a lot of, really bothered me that Our Philippine Journey didn't call him on it right there when he said it. That it made me sad. And maybe he didn't hear it. It was hard to tell if he really heard it or understood what was being said. But it's out now, and he can comment or not comment. But, if you support that, if you support that tacitly or actively, it says everything about you. And it says where the Philippines is going. Because if it becomes open game, acceptable behavior to instigate violence between locals and foreigners, just think about that ramifications. If I'm a weekend millionaire and I'm pissed off at some guy, I drop into Angeles and, hey, I've got $3,000, $5,000. What kind of damage can I do to a YouTuber with that kind of money in real life, in person, right? So Philly has been breaking barriers. Philly has been acting as a dog whistle, and he just told the world that this behavior is acceptable. He just told the world that getting locals to fight your fight because they're too much of a coward to stand up to some words online is acceptable behavior. Just told that to the world, and nobody is pushing back. Nobody's speaking out. Nobody's ostracizing him. Nobody's telling him it's wrong. So he will naturally progress to the next level. If you slap somebody in the face, a punch is next. If you punch somebody in the face, a beating is next. And this is all well documented. It's not hyperbole or bullshit. When domestic violence ends? Domestic violence ends when they separate permanently or there's a death. And that's well documented. That progression of violence with weak men never stops. So it's time for you to define yourself and act accordingly. Me? I'm going to go enjoy my day.